Hi, I'm Stephen Jondrew from Better Podcasting, a proud member of the GonnaGeek network. Just like the show you're listening to now, the opinions expressed are those of the individual hosts. Check out all the other geeky podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
This is it. The part of your week where you get to put your headphones on, relax, and listen to a bunch of geeks geek out about geeky things. They're passionate.
Did you know Magic Mike XXL is actually on the top 25 list of this year's best movie?
They're witty.
He loves him some Katy Perry because she kissed a girl and she liked it.
They're crazy.
I like Nickelback personally, but, I'm the fuddy-duddy who likes episode 1.
And sometimes I leave you wondering, what the f***?
I'm pretty sure that here we were starting the hashtag movement, bring back Slave Ferrell.
Welcome to the GonnaGeek.com podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 154 of the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. My name is Stephen Jondrew, and with me today is the one who I normally say last, is Jean-Sebastien.
Minicams.
We also have with us the super handsome, the guy that's making his way around the pod circles, Ferrell.
Hello, everyone.
And rounding us off at the rear of the list, we do have the fantastic Stargate Pioneer.
Yes, of course, you saved the best for last. It is the Stargate Pioneer coming at you once again, live from the Stargate Pioneer studios. I am glad once again to be back, and it is so glad to be back in the studio versus on the road giving little video snippets.
Yes, you're absolutely right. We did save the best for last. So as a reminder, I am also with you today.
Who?
I don't know. Somebody.
Who you?
How is everybody's week going?
Meh.
Good so far. It's only Monday, but hey, it's pretty good. And of course, by the time this comes out produced, it'll be the end of the week and it'll be the weekend. So yay, we got the weekend coming.
Not true. I will have you know that since TV is super crappy now, I do absolutely get this out usually around Wednesday, Thursday, depending on how many times JS says profanities. So
Watch your profanities.
Thursday, that's really Friday Eve. So again, hey, welcome to the weekend, everybody. Yay!
No, Thursday is not the weekend.
No.
It's Friday Eve.
And most of the time it's been Wednesday. So it just all falls apart. So I do, however, have a special treat today to talk a little bit about. And it is, I was inspired by USP. I was so inspired.
Please don't be porn. Please don't be porn. Please don't be porn. Please don't be porn.
It is. I decided to draw a line in the sand, and the one and only JS is going to be very happy. I Googled. It was like a whopping $4. I own myself a copy of Howard the Duck as of today.
No. I can't believe you did that.
I absolutely bought it because I have never actually seen it, and I was like, how can I not? It's Blu-ray.
Don't watch it with the boys around.
Best George Lucas movie ever.
So I'm going to go ahead and leave that behind me for the show tonight because Howard the Duck, right? And if we're a little bit lucky, JS is going to put on a costume a bit later, and Chris is going to put on a wig, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So
I quit.
I wish I had a Howard the Duck.
So by the way, on a serious note, Chris, I want to take a moment here to turn it over to you. You did make an appearance on another show this past week, and you did a phenomenal job. So first off, I want to see you pat yourself on the back. That is a legal requirement to continue on this episode right now.
All right, bye, guys.
No. Come on, pat yourself. Fine, I'll do it for you. Here we go. Okay.
I don't like shameless self-promotion of myself.
That's not true at all. You totally love self-promotion. So go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about what you had happen this past weekend.
This is confusing.
Well, this one time at band camp. In all seriousness, we won't talk about that moment, but I did have an awesome opportunity Friday afternoon to be a guest host on Tech News Weekly on the Guys from Queens Network. It was a blast I had a lot of fun chatting about Pokemon Go, Mini NES, and all sorts of things with Andrew Zarian and our very good friend, Suncast, aka John Bub. It was a really fun time. So if you have a chance, go and check that out over at gfqnetwork.com.
Absolutely. And I believe we actually have a short link set up, which is geeks.live / whatever you want to say, / Chris Talks Tech. That is what it is. Geeks.link. Sorry, it's not .live. Geeks.link / Chris Talks Tech. We'll take you right to that episode.
Cool.
Is tech spelled with a CH or a K?
CH, obviously. Who would spell it with a K?
I don't know. Maybe somebody from Sweden or Germany. I have no idea. You have to
never
specify
read Tech
such
Wars
things.
by William Shatner?
As a matter of fact, if Suncast was around, he would ask that same exact question. Is it a C or a K?
Wait for it. I bet he doesn't.
But seriously, you did do a phenomenal job. You talked some Pokemon Go, and way to represent the GG. Loved it lots, and you had your lovely network flag going on too. So
the
kudos to
GG
that.
on the GFQ.
It was the GG on the GFQ. So great job, Chris. And listener, viewer, go ahead and check that out. It is a very fun episode to listen to. But let's go ahead and get into our news here this week. Here we go. All right, first up in the news, SP wants to talk a little bit about what the cat dragged in, spelled with a K.
Not just a cat, but a meerkat. No, we're not talking about the mobile app. We're talking about a telescope array down in South Africa. Now, why is this important? Because they are ginning up a 64 array radio telescope in South Africa to look at the the southern hemisphere of the universe. So, up in the north, we can't see down south, but down south, they can see down south. So they have detected over 1,300 galaxies with only a quarter of the radio telescope operating. That's 16 of the 64 dishes. To date, there was only 70 seen, and now they've seen 1,300. That's just amazing. Now, these dishes are 13.5 meter radio dishes. They operate it in the 70 megahertz to the 10 gigahertz band, so VHF to X band, and the entire array is to be operational about 2024, and it is a tech demo for the Square Kilometer Array, or SKA, which they will be doing along with Australia. So congratulations to the Meerkat team for getting that sucker operational. I've seen some of the photos from the array. Of course, it's a radio telescope, so you're not actually getting imagery, but they're able to back out the imagery, and it looks kind of amazing. And I can't wait to see what they have in store for the future. Really, this is going to be phenomenal because we just don't have a lot of stuff looking that way, at least from the Earth's surface.
Yeah, I saw that. That's really cool. And I like this too because I believe you slightly enlightened us on that before too, didn't you?
Maybe, but not the Meerkat. I was talking about maybe the huge optical array down in Chile. That's what I was talking about.
No,
before.
that's what you were talking about. I'm totally wrong. You again failed us and didn't tell us anything about future news. So
I just like how SP faked me out. I thought he'd be talking about the SpaceX landing that took place at like 0 dark 30 today. So
I know
kudos
the
to you
fifth.
for tricking me.
yeah, you
the
should
fifth
take a
one.
moment though. I know you don't have it on the points here, but it was really cool and some really amazing imagery that came out of that. So why don't you take a moment here to talk briefly about that too, SP?
So SpaceX launched another capsule up to the International Space Station overnight, Sunday night into Monday morning. It went up and, of course, it came back down on the barge. So this was their fifth successful landing. And the nighttime landing from the cameras, it's not all that great resolution. One, it's night, and two, they're probably just using cheap cameras to try to capture this. But it was phenomenal watching it come down. And it's just fun. SpaceX is fun. Keir Hansen from Gallifrey Public Radio. SpaceX is fun. It's not bad. It's fun. So get on the program.
I thought this was a ground landing this time and not a barge landing. Or did I misread that today?
It was a ground landing.
Right. It was their fifth landing to
Okay.
come back onto
Gotcha.
that they saved the first stage. So yeah,
Okay.
you're absolutely right. Sorry,
Yeah,
if I
because they made a
misspoke
big
there.
point. They made a big point of saying, "Hey, this was not a barge landing this time. This was a ground landing." I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
Yeah. I think
And
that
depending
is cool.
depending on the trajectory and depending on how much inertia they have, whatever, it's one or the other, and it's just special occasions that they can come back to the actual Kennedy Space Center and do this.
And I have to say, I'm always happy to eat a little bird, and this time I will opt for crow, because that is my preferred style of bird to consume. Well, there might be a certain, never mind, we'll leave that alone. But what I want to say is that I remember just a brief like 6 months ago, I was pretty down on the failures they were having and saying, like, I felt like they needed to start making a big push forward, and they have absolutely done that since I've made that comment. So I am very, very engaged with them lately and loving what they've been succeeding at. And so way to go, SpaceX. Again, you prove that when we say something on the GonnaGeek.com podcast, it happens in real life. So that's what you've proven. So thank you for continuing that trend.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
So I have proven future news. You can't have it both ways, Steven. It's either I do or I don't.
Okay, we'll go with don't, because that means that you're wrong. But let's go ahead and move on into Chris's news. He wants to talk a little bit about who has the Netflix edge.
Ooh, I like the pun you put in there. So a real quick show of hands, I guess. I know this is an audio podcast, so we'll vocally show our hands. How many of you guys have upgraded to Windows 10 at this point in time?
Do you mean staying with it? Because like I've done it like four times.
Staying.
So.
How many of you are currently on Windows 10 and are a regular user of Windows 10? Let me rephrase. It
I
looks
am
like
not.
Jess and I.
Not on my main rig. On other computers I am. Does that count?
It'll count for these purposes. So why I'm bringing that up is Microsoft's trying real hard to get a win with their Edge browser. They've had there was a study they put out about 2 weeks ago where they bring up the fact if you're on a laptop, it uses far less battery than browsers like Chrome and Firefox. And then last week on Wednesday, Microsoft put a claim out there stating that the Edge browser was the only one of the big four browsers, including Chrome, Firefox, and Opera, to offer 1080p resolution while playing Netflix content. PC World did a quick test of all four browsers and proved the claim to be true, where those other three browsers cap out at 720p. So the home of 1080p web streaming in browser right now is Microsoft Edge. And I don't know about you guys, that kind of blew my mind to hear that.
I have not used it yet. It's the first time I started. Look at that.
I did hear about this, and it is shocking to me. Not so much from Microsoft was able to do this, but from the fact that the other folks don't. I am completely blown away at Microsoft having the edge in anything.
Oh, I see what you did there. They have the edge. Also, one other thing, if you have the Windows 10 Universal app for Netflix, that too streams in 1080p to your local PC.
I got a little beef with Netflix that's not related to the 1080. Actually, it kind of is. Their plans are changing, right? So
They announced that 2 years ago.
No, well, true, but they're changing for me in August. And right now I have 4 screens that can stream in my household for, I think, $9.99 or $7.99 or whatever it is. I don't know. They're changing my plan in August. And now they're changing my plan to a 2-screen plan. And I tried to up it to more screens than that, and my plan is locked. I can't change a thing until it changes in August. I'm like, I can't even see what's available to me. It's just poor planning,
really?
Netflix.
See, because when I tried to do it before, my promotion doesn't run out until this month, or my carryover, they were going to let me change my plan if I wanted to. I just would no longer be prorated into the old plan, because I was looking into upgrading to the 4K plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't change anything. It'll just let me see my current plan and then the 2 steps below, basically, but it won't let me see any other plans other than the 2-screen plan starting in August. So Netflix, come on. I want to give you my money and you're not letting me.
Yeah.
I would say, in all honesty, if it's really a problem for you, give them a phone call, because I've heard that their customer support's pretty good on that and explain what it is you're trying to do, and they'll probably help set you up.
So in Canada, in Canardia, we don't have as many options as you guys do. And I'll say this, that it doesn't matter to me. And I personally don't think that Netflix really has much future in having a variety of options. I think that they're going to narrow it down for everybody based off a lot of the international model, which is just sort of a couple of options. I know in the States you guys still have a bunch of residual options, but I know internationally, including Canada, it's worked really well with just a couple. My promo that I've had, which was I think $6.99 Canadian or $5.99, just expired, and now I'm up at the whatever it is, $9.99. I still pay it, but
$10 now.
Yeah, I still pay it. I think it's still worth it, but I know. Like
Of course it's worth it. It's $10.
Yeah, I really do think though that you guys are gonna have your pool narrowed down.
Well, so I went and pulled up my Netflix account stuff right now. So there are 3 current plans you can sign up for, and I'm grandfathered in on my current 2 stream plus HD. You can sign up for 1 stream in standard def for $7.99 a month, 2 streams at a time in HD for $9.99, or 4 screens at a time up to 4K for $11.99 a month are the 3 plans that I see.
I'd love to have that plan available, and it's just not available. I could pull it up right now.
I literally just have to click on it and push continue, and they'd switch me over right now.
There's a thing that says you are locked into your current plan, and you cannot see any other plans until August 3rd or 4th. I can't remember what it is.
You might want to give them a call.
To the devil.
You might want to give them a call because I'm not having any issue with that on mine as I pull it up right now. I'm not going to make that switch because I'm still cheaper for another month, but whatevs.
I'm guessing it's something in their billing system that's causing it, right? Like, I don't know, something's gone wrong with your grandfathered plan, but
Did you try opening it in Microsoft Edge? Because I'm told that works better with Netflix.
I'll try that after the podcast. I'll report back next week or whenever we come back next time.
Yeah, but we're still, obviously it's a matter of time till the rest of them do have it now. Now that Microsoft has an advantage with anything, you can bet your ass that Google and Mozilla will have something implemented relatively quickly.
Yeah, that's what Suncast had said in the chat room. He goes, Google could change that on a dime, and he's 100% right. But that being said, Google's been promising battery optimizations on Chrome for years now, and if you go and pull up Chrome on a laptop, you can just watch your battery plummet while you're in the Chrome environment. It's not even funny, man.
No. Hey, but Google is doing podcasters a big favor by actually having podcasts available in Google Play Music, and it's working out great for everybody, isn't it?
It always is.
It's used so much.
They are the king of everything, and again, the Google house. When you want to sell it to me, I am ready. Absolutely ready.
I'll take one too.
Me too.
All right, let's go ahead and move into our third news point that we have here, which is actually a plethora of news points. We are going to do a quick week in Pokemon. There has been a variety of entertaining stories that I'm just going to go ahead and rattle through here. We'll go ahead and start off with the big one, the one that came out today, well, actually technically last night, which is Canada. You can finally do it easily. You don't have to do any stinking spyware-filled APK. You don't have to trick yourself into looking like you're American. You can wave that Canadian flag proud and download it through the Canadian App Store now. You can absolutely get Pokemon Go in Canada now. It's officially out, and today, all sorts of records being hit in Canada. So crazy, shocking, not at all.
I think they had to clean out all of the maple syrup from the pipe between Nintendo and Canada in order to get that work. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, no, I think you're probably right on that, and I have no problem.
I think they had to get a French version.
I would like to go with SPs in jest, but no, you're probably right. There are laws in Canada about the bilingualism, and the French version must probably have had to have been there. So I'll bet that's what it was.
We don't have to worry about that here in the United States because English is the official language of the United States of America. Right, Chris?
No, you mean American.
Exactly.
American is the official language.
Yeah, with your removal of the U's in color.
So the real important question, though, Steven, is it's available in Canada as of today when we record this. Have you downloaded Pokemon Go yet?
I was just talking to Neil about this today because he asked me. He messaged me. He's like, have you got it yet? I am, you know me, I already let things slide because doing 2 podcasts with kids is incredibly difficult to find time, and I am legitimately resisting because I feel like if I put it on my phone when we go out somewhere, now I'm just going to ignore them out there too and just play Pokemon. And where did the kids go? What? So I feel like I'm going to resist for now. Give me a week to get settled in because I just got back from a weekend away, but I could see it in the future, not at the moment. So
I was talking to Neil today about Pokemon Go as well. He sent me a message. He goes, "Hey, I called an employee up to my office." He comes in and goes, "Yeah, you wanted to see me?" Thought it was about work. I stared at him for a while and then said, "Yellow team? Seriously?" And then he responds to me, "Team Mystic. Hashtag Team Mystic."
So let's go through the teams here. I just want to verify here. You are on team... Chris, you are on team...
Mystic. We're blue.
And JS, you are on team...
Instinct. I think
You're the ugly yellow team then?
I'm piss yellow, man. I even made my character piss yellow. Piss yellow. Piss yellow.
There's 4 edit points for you, Steven.
Nah, you can say piss. Piss is okay. The next piece of Pokemon Go news that I've got going on here is to do with, again, Canada. And this actually came out before it was officially released in Canada. That's right. One UBC student in Canada decided to emulate a certain service that he saw in Baltimore, but with a twist. That's right. For $25 an hour, this enterprising student will drive you around in his quality Volkswagen Passat and take you to all of the variety of happenings in Pokemon Go goodness. He says that all the money's going to go to charity, but he definitely encourages bringing water and snacks. So that is something that if you want to be lazy, there is a Pokemon Go chauffeuring service.
That's pretty cool.
I think there's an Uber for that.
By the way, he does also offer an added benefit where if you would like for $40 an hour, you can get a ride in a Class 5 Mercedes.
Ooh.
So there you go. You could catch them all in style.
What year?
That was my question too. The next piece of interesting Pokemon Go roundup news that we've got going on is one that, again, I'm going to steal some Canadian news because I don't know why all this crazy stuff was happening in Canada before it was even out. One man got very, very frustrated with people coming to try to catch Pokemon on his property, and he decided to post this ad, which on the YouTube video, which you can find at geeks.link/154, he posted this ad, and it says, "This is a private building." No, it doesn't. It says, "This is a private yard for tenants of this building only, not for Pokemon chasing. Get a life and stay out of my yard. This whole Pokemon hunt is by far the stupidest thing I have ever seen, and I have lived through Hammer Pants, Crystal Pepsi, trickle-down economics, the first past-the-post electoral system, people taking Jean Chrétien seriously, the Macarena, the Willennium, the presidency of George W. Bush, and 10 seasons of CSI Miami. There is a bar up the street and around the corner. Go there, have a beer, and seriously think about your life choices." So, yeah.
What if you're 10 years old?
Well, he's encouraging you, but so first off, I'm gonna say I disagree with a lot of that letter, but hey, he was passionate and he executed on it.
He got what he wanted. He got to be a dick and go viral for being a dick. That's all the guy was going for. If I post this, I can talk about how cool I am for not liking Pokemon Go. That's what you're seeing all sorts of stuff on social media about right now. It's like, look at me. I don't like the fact you all are playing Pokemon Go. Okay, that's great. Then just don't talk about it. You don't have to preach to everyone that you're like, "I hate this game." I don't care if you hate it. I'm enjoying it some. Whoop-de-doo.
So I'm going to flip back on the video side of things to the article again, and I want to point something out here because this quite nicely shows his quality of writing. If we look here, he has capitalized every first letter of his sentence in addition to capitalizing the whole sentence. So I am completely confused with that. The only thing that I can think is that it is one of those mind things where he's trying to brainwash us. So what does TWPHI mean? I don't know.
No, let me put on my tinfoil hat and I'll get back to you.
I was going to put on my hammer pants
Somebody
and drink some
should take
Crystal
a
Pepsi.
picture of himself. Like, somebody should take a picture of himself Pokemoning on his yard, and then like print it and like glue it.
Yeah,
right next
well, what's
to
he
it.
gonna do if I stand on the sidewalk next to that yard and catch a Pokemon in his front yard? Oh, come call the cops on me! I didn't do anything wrong.
Or people should dress up as Pokemon characters and like
Yes.
just hang out of his house.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe this is me just ranting a little bit. I'm just tired of so many people going on there and like, I think this is dumb, and having to preach about it. Okay, then you think it's dumb.
People are happy to rain misery on other people. That's just their thing. Oh, so you're having fun and I'm not. No, you're an idiot because I'm not having fun.
I agree, and I actually had a bit of a discussion with a family member this past weekend, and they had a fairly anti-Pokemon Go attitude about it and about themselves, and I just think, like, what's the big deal? Like, you know, I said I am not downloading it right now. I probably won't be downloading it for a few days, if at all. But I'm also not out there being like, why are people doing this? I think it's great. You know what? It's encouraging. I'm seeing all sorts of kids walking around the neighborhood that I definitely think they would not be doing that otherwise. And yes, I am stereotyping when I make that assumption, but I think that it's fair stereotyping, and I think that it's fun. I think it's great. I think it's an interesting thing.
The best meme I saw is shut up and go CrossFit, or shut up and go to your Spartan race.
Yeah, exactly.
Go do your Spartan race and shut the hell up.
You guys obviously haven't listened to the After Dark or whatever it is on the latest Gallifrey Public Radio number 191, where Jay describes almost getting arrested at 2 a.m. in the morning playing Pokemon.
Okay, so let's be sensible a little bit with Pokemon Go here. And the reason why I say that is because I think there's been a lot of very eye-opening stories that have seriously come out about people in the middle of the night. And be aware of where you're at, and let's be sensible with it. I want to give a great example of that. Suncast posted on his Facebook that he was thinking about going out in the middle of the night. And the next day there were people, I think were they robbed or were they mugged?
There's a few different stories. There were some that were robbed. There were some that were shot.
No, but I'm talking about, there's one example in specific in Suncast town that he literally decided against it because, you know, he thought, well, I live in Flint. Why would I do that, right? And sure enough, something bad happened that evening to other people. So let's not forget where we're at, and let's take the Suncast sensible advice. And
if you listen to Jay's story, though, over on GPR number 191, it ended up good. They actually ended up playing Pokemon with the cop, but it was
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, he basically met up with a couple of African Americans in their early 20s, and just with everything going on here in the United States, the cop came up to him and thought maybe there was a drug deal going on, maybe somebody was being harassed or whatever. And they're like, no, man, we're playing Pokemon Go. And he didn't believe him. So they actually had the cop download the app to his phone, and they went around trying to find Pokemon. So that was pretty cool.
That's really cool. That is really cool.
I just like people who are making comments like, people are doing stupid things, driving while Pokemoning, or like putting their wee into an electric plug. Look, if you're stupid, you're stupid. You can't prevent it. People are just going to do dumb things. People do dumb things. It's not the app that makes people do dumb things. It's because people are stupid.
Yeah.
Don't drive in Pokemon, and don't go to the ghetto where the vans are next to the river. Like,
with
don't
free
go catch
candy.
Pokemon. Yeah.
Oh,
don't forget the free candy.
I gotta go wash my car. I'll be right back.
Just be smart.
Just trying to have some fun. I just put on the side of my minivan free Pokemon. No?
Don't go into a biker's bar with your Pokemon phone out.
If you write free Pokemon on the side of your minivan, that's how you catch 20-year-old hipsters, Stephen.
I drove to the park. I actually have Suncast in the van, so there you go.
Does he have lollipops with him?
He does.
The lollipop.
But let's go to the last piece of Pokemon Go news that I've got here, which is to do with the San Francisco Zoo. That's right. They decided to just roll with it because they discovered, just like many other local businesses that you might find in your local hometown, insert hometown name here. Yeah, best fans ever. Woo! They found that they did indeed have I think it was a Pokestop at the San Francisco Zoo. So they just rolled with it. They started to promote it, embrace it, tweet it, Instagram it, all that other good stuff. And yeah, they are just absolutely loving it because, let's be honest, it's getting people to the zoo, something that hasn't happened since 1996.
I actually have a coworker who's going to take his son, who's in middle school, to the local zoo tomorrow, specifically to do that. He's like, well, it's just a good day for the zoo because it's summer, he's off school. And I'm like, well, does he have the Pokemon Go app? He goes like, yeah, and he's so excited to go. I was like, yeah, because he wants to play Pokemon Go at the zoo. So
yeah, I think that is really cool, though, that all these places are embracing it. And what do we think?
Did you hear about the Holocaust Museum that has Pokemon inside, and they were getting very angry?
Oh, no.
So it hasn't been officially confirmed that that wasn't fake. It wasn't that there was a Pokestop or anything, but they caught a ghastly Pokemon in there, which is a ghost Pokemon. However, there has been no other references I've seen other than the original one of people be like, oh, I caught a Pokemon at the Holocaust Museum. Now, the bigger, more troubling fact is a person was there and decided to play Pokemon Go. That is not the place to be playing Pokemon Go.
So back to my suggestion, let's be sensible with Pokemon Go.
Yes.
And before we do hop away from this Pokemon Go news roundup, I want to go around the table here and ask everybody, what do we think? Do we think this is a fad that's going to fade quickly? Or do we think this is something that is a fad like year-long-ish timeline, year or so? Or do we think that this is something that's going to just go on in different revisions, like we've seen with a lot of other really cool games like Candy Crush and stuff?
They're going to need to up their game. I'm predicting in a month and a half to 2 months, if the game doesn't get a decent upgrade, the fad's going to disappear.
Okay, and how about you, Chris? What do you think? Because you've played it too.
So here's going to be the problem with Pokemon Go. Much like JS said, they're going to have to up their game a little bit. And I think they have plans to do that, be it bringing in some of the legendary Pokemon or any of the other like 800 they still have left they could do. Where you're going to run into a problem is come November, December, when it starts getting real cold in some places, are people still going to want to go outside and hunt Pokemon in those freezing conditions? That is where you see what the longevity of the game is, and you see how it will survive the cold winter.
That is a very, very good point. And then honestly, one I hadn't thought about. SP, what do you think?
I'm from Minnesota. We do outdoor things year round. Doesn't matter how warm or how cold it is. People do go outside to sled, to make ice castles, to ice fish, to make snowman, whatever. So, I mean, there's a big winter carnival in St. Paul in January every year just to get people out, and they search for this medallion. I guarantee you, kids are going to be playing Pokemon Go for the rest of the summer into the start of the school year, and depending on if there's any game revisions or not, they will last even longer than that. I predict that with the success of this, they're going to want to keep the development going. They're going to want to monetize a little bit of it, whether it's ads or whether it's in-app purchases or whatever. So yeah, I think it's going to last maybe half a year or something like that before something else is unique like it and takes off. But I really applaud everybody that's out there getting their butts off the couch and getting some exercise and doing this. I really think it's great for America. I mean, let's face it, we need the exercise.
I agree. The only thing that I really had thought of here, I think that we're gonna see sort of a two-tier system. You're gonna get a bit of a drop in about 2 to 3 months. I think all of a sudden you're going to get some people just getting bored with it. The people who usually get bored with apps, they get involved with things, they drop off. I've been guilty of that before. I used to play Words with Friends. I played it for like a month and a half and I gave up and I stopped. The people like me will have that happen. But the thing that I was thinking a little bit about is the places like where I live. I live in British Columbia, and the west coast of British Columbia, we don't get a ton of snow. But what we do get is long seasons of rain. I kind of joke every year that fall, winter, and spring are kind of the same because they're a mixture of good days where it can be beautiful in December and days where it can just be raining nonstop in September or August. So we get a lot of that. And I'm a little bit worried about how's that going to work out, because with the rain situation in places like this, where it's not really the most feasible thing in the world to be taking your phone out in the middle of a downpour.
Well, isn't that new Galaxy X S7 water resistant or whatever? You're fine with that
It's actually straight up waterproof.
It is.
you're good.
Consumer
then.
Reports had some issues with that, which we can talk about in a later episode.
Yeah. But that was my only thought is the rain factor, because like I think the places that have sort of your traditional seasons where you do get snow and you get big long periods of snow, then it stops and you get some days, right? That'd be kind of fun, I think, for some people in the middle of winter, trekking out in the snow, unless it's, your head height snow. But the people who get like your Chevy Chase movie level snow. I can't think of the name of it. Christmas Vacation level of snow. That'll be fun. Be the family gathering round Christmas Eve to go catch some Pokemon.
The game is going to need some major upgrades right now. There's no fighting between people. There's no trading between people. The fighting that there is in the game is completely horrible compared to previous Pokemon games. So I think people are going to get very bored very fast, especially since everybody threw themselves like cocaine addicts onto this product. If it doesn't change, people are just going to get bored. The fighting needs to change.
Let's bear in mind also, though, the thing this has got going for us is the word Pokemon. That is a franchise that has not died in over 20 years at this point in time. If you go back to the card game, there are people of all ages that play the card game and the Game Boy games and things like that. So there is a rabid fan base that wants to consume this. So while it might eventually not become like the nationwide craze it is, there is still a large number of people that play and enjoy Pokemon games, and I would not be surprised to see a fairly decent size of them continue playing. Remember, Niantic Studios that made this game also did Ingress, and while it was not a runaway hit, it was widely played by many Android gamers and became a very popular, if somewhat niche product.
That's true. And I don't know. I don't have a lot of personal history with Niantic Studios, so...
Niantic.
Yeah, I totally went there. Before we do go into Chris's segment that he's got going on this week, let's just recap our Geeks.live chat room. We've got a variety of opinions in there, including Suncast, who is making a great point about it's fun, but the time it takes to just continue progressing in the game sucks. And he says it's not like you can just sit at home in front of your TV playing on your Xbox, which it's true. You can't really do that with this game.
Well, if they make a Windows Phone 10 app, it would be a universal app and theoretically would then work on the Xbox.
I've heard you could strap it to your ceiling fan and play it that way.
People are strapping it to drones and remoting into the phone.
Okay, fair
that
enough.
Was fantastic.
Then we have Kent saying when Apple gets rid of the headphones jack, then waterproof iPhones. So that's what he's saying is the solution to my rain problem that I mentioned earlier. We absolutely do want to know what you have to say about this. So please do get in touch with us. Let us know. You can tweet us at GonnaGeek. You can find us at youtube.com/GonnaGeek, where you can comment on the video there. You can chat with us right now. We're still recording this on Monday, July 18th at geeks.live. And you can absolutely go give us a call at 567-343-GEEK. That's 567-343-4335. Leave us a voicemail there. So that is wrapping us up for this edition of the GonnaGeek News.
Wait, we didn't talk about the Star Trek news.
Oh, you are right. Okay, that's not going to wrap it up. Let's take one quick moment to talk about that, because they did finally, again, getting all Canadian. I know exactly where JS is going here. They did announce the international distribution for the new Star Trek television series. And JS, do you remember what the moral of that story is?
It will be globally on Netflix.
Except for Canada and the US, where it will be on different providers. Of course, in the US, it will be on the CBS All Access app, with the initial episode airing on CBS. In Canada, they are doing something similar. A company called Bell owns the rights, so it will be on, I believe it's CTV, the premiere, which is a network station up in Canada. And then we're a little bit different. we're going to be able to get it on Crave TV, which is a Netflixy type service, which has had lukewarm reviews. My opinion, really crappy interface. But they will be first airing the shows on the Space Channel, which is kind of like your Sci-Fi Channel down in the States. So pretty interesting. I've been waiting for this news. How was I going to get it? And I am actually really cool with this from the perspective that I don't even need to worry about streaming it. I'll just set my DVR and it'll be the same place all my other TV is. So I actually prefer that over like CBS All Access.
I'm jealous because I'm not paying $9.99 a month for another streaming service that I would only use for one television show. So I'll see it if and when they ever decide to put it out on Blu-ray or DVD or put it on Netflix. Because honestly, why do I need another streaming service? I can barely watch the stuff I have now.
I agree, and I'm a sci-fi guy, so no, I am not going to go out and start another streaming service. I don't do Hulu Plus. I use Amazon Prime and I use Netflix, and that's it. I draw the line, so I guess it's going to be my loss. And I'm a Star Trek guy, I'm a sci-fi guy, and I'm not getting another I refuse to do CBS. I mean, CBS put on Scorpion on the air. Come on.
I feel like this is something that the way they've designed this, they're going to make a change in the States because
of course,
internationally, it's going to be way more successful since it's on Netflix. Hell, even having it on Space Channel in Canada is a much broader appeal than if we were able to get that CBS All Access app up here, which we can't. It is a much, much broader appeal. A lot of people get that Space Channel. Like I said, it's kind of like your sci-fi. And there's actually been a couple of Space Channel originals, which you guys have seen down there and talked about. So it's really interesting to see this happen. And there's actually a really weird random pull here. This sort of cable model has actually worked in Canada quite a bit. There was our version of that wonderful, glorious reality TV show called Big Brother. We have Big Brother Canada. It originally started on a cable show. It was owned by Shaw Media, which owns a couple of different Canadian network televisions, but they also own the cable channels. And that's where they did it. And now, it's gotten some traction in Canada, and they are now putting it on the main network shows. So cable channels in Canada have had a lot of momentum with shows like this. So I think it'll be really, really interesting to see how the international numbers on this show compare to the in the States numbers where you have to get the CBS All Access.
So I'm going to use a term that I use all the time on a different show, and it is a keyword that is used in the drinking game officially for that show. This is a straight up cash grab. CBS is banking on the fact that there's a rabid group of Star Trek fans that want something, so they're banking on the fact of instead of putting this on TV or some other venue, we can make them pay $9.99 a month so they can watch, 22 episodes, 4 per month, 4 or 5 months worth of CBS All Access, and we've got them there.
Don't work so well with the Paramount channel. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah. We'll see. I do really, really think that it's not going to be, because they're still doing it week to week. That's my understanding is they're still doing it week to week, and Netflix will release it week to week, which is really mind blowing to me because that's not Netflix. It airs. Really cool. Really great that Netflix signed up on this. And I think that it's a great test bed for Netflix to see if this works for them. But I think it's going to be like a few weeks in, all of a sudden CBS is going to have to make a left turn because they're going to see it's popular elsewhere.
You're going to see a lot of people using VPNs here in the States to watch in other countries. But in all seriousness, it's not the first time Netflix has done something similar, though, because if you were a UK Netflix subscriber, how you watched the last season of Breaking Bad was it aired one day in the United States, was available on Netflix UK the next day. And I believe they're doing the same thing with Better Call Saul.
I didn't realize that. Very cool. All right, I think that is actually going to end this week's GonnaGeek news. Thank you for bringing that up, JS. That was something that I did read this morning, and I meant to put that in here. So thank you very much, JS. You saved my ass.
I did.
All right, let's go ahead and get into Chris's special segment. Alrighty, let's talk about some crazy fun times that Mr. Ferrell is happening with a lady named Alexa. You had fun, sexy time, didn't you?
Something like that. So if you guys aren't familiar, I've kind of touched on it on this podcast, a few others. I've started dabbling in home automation, playing with the Internet of Things. Is that something any of you guys have started messing with any?
No. I just literally bought a security alarm that kind of does a little bit of that, and it was a little bit appealing to me, but you know me, SP on the video side of things is holding up a Wink Hub, which is what Chris has. It was an amazing deal that he got, and Chris and SP, I think you guys got it for what, like $20?
I got mine for $25. I went back 2 weeks later, and SP's the one he's got was down to $12 on clearance at Amazon. This regularly retails for anywhere between $70 to $90.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. I think I was actually went to Home Depot and sent you a picture from there for like $99. So in Canada, just getting screwed every which way we turn. So Go ahead though, continue, Chris.
So I've been dabbling with home automation. What got me started, like we touched on here, is I got myself a Wink Hub. It's the central point for smart homes. There's all sorts of different products out there. Samsung has one called the Smart Things. There's a few other ones. And honestly, I've just been kind of considering it, and I ran into a great deal at Target, and I said, hey, for $25, I can start working on this whole smart home thing and play around. And if I don't like it, I'm only out some money for a hub and then potentially some lights, which could still be used without it. So what does this do for me right now? I got to lay this groundwork to fill you guys into where I am now. This Wink Hub I have sits up in my living room. I've got it tucked away behind a couch, and it's the brains of things. I can use it to control lights within my house. I don't have a ton of light bulbs set up, but I'm holding up right now on camera. This is my cell phone with the Wink Hub app put up, just showing the different light bulbs and stuff that I have turned on. You can see I have a couple turned on upstairs.
Show that picture. Whoa. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa. So I have one called the Office Light. If I go and hit that button right now, you can see behind me turns on a light, which bleeds away all my stuff. I can adjust the brightness of it, all sorts of things just from my phone. What's cool about this also is on Android, I can put a little widget on my home screen where I can have 5 different shortcuts for different modes. I have one that's called like Good Night, where it turns off all my lights. One that's called Movie Night, where it dims everything down to 10%. So I've been playing around with scheduling lights and being able to control them. And yes, I said schedule. I have a scheduling tool that is built into this where I've got it set up that about an hour before sunrise, it turns on the lights at low power in my living room. And about a half hour before sunrise, turns them up to full power. And then it turns them on full power, and then they turn off about an hour after sunrise. So when I come downstairs in the morning, I've got light. The same is true for sunset. I can program that way. And since it's based off my location in sunrise, sunset, it's always changing every day a little bit. So my light patterns never stay the same in my house, which from a security standpoint, I really do like.
That is awesome. I didn't realize that it did that, and I'm probably going to keep an eye out for that because that is something that I'm always worried about when I go away. That is genius.
Yes.
I've got a programmable switch that I bought, 10 years ago or something like that. And it does the same thing. Now I have to program where I am in the latitude and longitude, whatever, so it gets a sense on where I am in the world. But it does the same thing. It turns the lights on and off depending on where I am to the sunrise and sunset. And then when they switched the whole 2-week thing, where it was daylight savings times was 2-week different on both sides, it kind of screwed it up right there. But yes, that sort of calculation has been around for a while. The neat thing about yours, though, if there ever is a change, like the United States decides to do away with daylight savings time, then it's easily changed in the app itself.
And let's be completely honest, that device that you bought probably was more than $12. So there you go.
It was only like $20 or something like that. It wasn't that expensive.
Bear in mind, the hub retails for about $70 to $90, depending on which company you're buying. And then you also have to invest in the Internet of Things devices. And for instance, the LED bulbs I've got, most of the ones that are just different whites of different intensity levels, those are anywhere between $10 to $15 I've spent. And then I did shell out some big bucks. I spent $35 on an LED bulb that is also color changing because I wanted to play around with another tool I found out about. Those of you that have been playing around with home automation or even just automating some functions on your phone, you guys might have heard of a service called If This Then That. It's ifttt.com. It allows you to basically hook together different services and make things happen in your house or on your phone, things like that. So I have things set up right now. I put in my location. If this, then that knows my location based off the zip code. I have a rule set up. If it starts to rain in my zip code, I want you to take the living room light and turn it blue. I just did that just for fun, just to see what would happen. So if it starts to rain at my house right now, my living room light turns blue. When the rain stops, it goes back to regular color. I've just been playing around with stupid things like that, but there's all sorts of different triggers that IFTT has to do different things, and it plugs into other systems, which kind of catches up to what Steven had teased all to begin with. Is Amazon did their Prime Day stuff last week. I was kind of bad. I bought the Amazon Echo because it was down to $129, which is the cheapest it has been since it came out. Why I bought it is because it was the natural next extension to all of my home automation stuff I was doing, because now it is another brain for everything, but it's a brain that understands me speak, which is really cool. So for instance, when I'm coming down to do this show now, instead of having to pull up my phone and flip things on, total first world problem, I realize, I can just walk by my kitchen or be anywhere on my first level and go, Alexa, turn on the office light. And Alexa goes, beep, beep, office light is on, or something to that effect. And I come downstairs, the lights are on. If I want to adjust any of the lights, I'm sorry?
Does it hear you well, or does it take multiple times?
So I will say it all depends on your placement. I have found with Alexa. I have Alexa in my kitchen, which is on the main level, and anywhere I stand in the main level, Alexa can hear me fine. Not an issue. As I'm coming down the steps from the upstairs, I've talked to it because I was coming down at like 3 o'clock in the morning because I needed a drink of water. I said, Alexa, turn on the light, turn on all lights. Everything turned on. She heard me coming down the stairs. Amazon has boasted, and I think they're accurate in the fact that it hears you very well where you are in the house. I have only had a couple times where she didn't hear me, and that's because I had some music blaring on the Alexa at the same time.
And so have you and the missus started the role playing yet where you call her Alexa or no?
No, we have not. So I don't want you guys thinking that Alexa is just a tool for home automation. That is just one of the things it can do. You can ask it to play music for you. You can ask it to add things to your shopping list. There is all sorts of different things that Alexa does. One of my favorite actually is I come down in the morning when I'm making my coffee and packing my lunch to take to work. I say, Alexa, what's new? And I have pre-programmed in my news brief. So it gives me the news on NPR, the news on ESPN, and a few other sources just while I'm working on my stuff. It is really cool. It even plays podcasts. I was messing around with these guys the other day, and as long as your podcast is on tunein.com, Alexa can play it. So I told Alexa, play Better Podcasting. Started playing right away the most recent episode. It was really cool. And if you're listening to the audio, Steven just changed his mic flag to Better Podcasting, as did SP.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really cool when you did end up showing us that. That's amazing integration. And I have to say, like, I really, really wasn't that interested in Alexa. But it's not available in Canada, unfortunately, yet. The Echo is not yet. But I think once it is here, might have to be on my list of things that I want, because I do want to get into the home automation eventually. I again had small little desire to do that, and then you've been sending me some cool things, so I'm going to be keeping my eyes out for that sort of stuff, so that I am set when the Echo does end up coming to Canada.
And what is cool about the Echo is that Amazon has opened the API up to developers. So basically, people are making new skills for it, as they call it, every day. Like, you can order a Domino's pizza from your Alexa right now. It's
That's
crazy.
Cool.
That's pretty
Dane
cool.
Dane in the chat is asking, how well does Alexa get along with Siri and Cortana? They don't fight?
So I do not have Siri in my house. I cannot say how well it is working, but I would have to go and look. I don't know how well Alexa and the Echo work with Apple's HomeKit, which is Apple's home automation tools, because I don't have Apple devices other than my iPad, and I haven't tried to use HomeKit. As for Siri,
I just thought of something. Dane has written amazing fan fiction. Pillow fight. Pillow
There you go.
fight.
As for Cortana, I would not be shocked if people find ways to hook Cortana's voice features into some kind of Alexa services. I don't really know. Now, what is really cool is if anyone's listening to this podcast right now, I keep saying Alexa and telling it to do things. If you have an Echo that's hearing this, your Echo probably keeps going off and trying to do stuff. So sorry about that, guys. Alexa, add a iPhone Touch to my shopping list. And if anyone heard that, you've now got an iPod Touch on your shopping list. So sorry about that.
Alexa, subscribe to the GonnaGeek.com podcast.
Alexa,
Purchase all the porn. Except.
That's funny.
So it has been a pretty cool tool I've added to my home automation arsenal. There is another one that is out there, and I cannot remember the name of it all of a sudden. The Amazon Dot has been discontinued, which was basically just an Amazon Echo, just the top piece of it with a very little speaker you could plug into a larger speaker. They did cancel that one, but they do have a portable version. I want to say it's like the Dash, and I'm completely screwing it up, but that you can take with you, only it is not always listening. You have to automatically trigger it by hitting a button.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm really excited to see what you do with this. I know you haven't been playing with Alexa too long, but I can't wait to see what happens as you find out all of her curves and everything. So very interesting. I will say this. You did talk a little bit about that service. What is the big weird URL?
If you go to IFTTT, it's if this, then that. They also have apps on Android and iOS. That's how you can start looking at connecting different services. It doesn't even have to be like necessarily an Alexa type thing. You can connect your Gmail to your Google account. Well, not your Google Calendar, but to some other service and have things send.
And I've actually hacked Chris's account here right now. And I've located some code that he has in his. And the code says, if this, Chris has no pants on, / if this, then freeze over hell. Oh wait, that's backwards. You wrote your code wrong
down there.
You wrote your code wrong.
So actually, there's no code you have to write, which is what's really cool about if this, then that. You literally click your if. You go to your if statement and you select whatever it is, and then you do your that statement and tell it what to do out of that. It is a very simplified way to do what sounds complicated. It's very much worth checking out, even if you don't have home automation pieces, because I even have a piece in place that automatically turns the Wi-Fi off on my phone when I get a certain distance away from my house, and then turns it back on when I'm close to the house again.
Yeah, I actually first got this on my radar because of the legendary fellow GonnaGeek Network member, Cody Goff, who did tell me a little bit about it. And of course, I ignored it when he said it. And then you told me about it and I looked it up. And yeah, pretty neat and definitely a cool service. And no, seriously, I did look it up actually after Cody did say it. And Cody, thank you very much for enlightening me on that. I haven't found any use cases for me yet, but I'm sure I will have a variety coming my way. So thank you very much for that, Chris. Any final thoughts that you have before we do wrap up the show?
Sure. I'm not going to bring it up in this one right now, but I do have some thoughts for how I'm going to continue to extend my home automation experiment. And maybe that's a later segment on the GonnaGeek podcast as I add more and more pieces to stuff. But I do have a roadmap of technology of things that I do want.
That's cool. And SB, I know you're going to probably buy the Echo as well. And you're going to then have little wars with who Alexa loves more, you or Chris. I can't wait to hear that battle happen. I'm sure you guys will have a variety of shared love stories.
I don't know. We'll see. I got other things to do before I really delve into that, but we'll see. I mean, it's summertime. I got some summer chores to do, but thank you very much, Chris, for snagging that for me. I do intend on getting into it in the next couple of months, and I look forward to listening and hearing about your future upgrades.
For sure.
It's going to be fun stuff.
Awesome. Well, that's going to take us to the end of the show. So let's do our usual thing where we go around the table and promote or plug or do whatever we would like to do. So, JS, anything you want to do?
Yeah, I want to plug my Twitch channel. So it's twitch.com/JSHeru. Come check me out playing games. I enjoy trolling and raging.
By the way, I have an update. Last week, I said that I set up the short URL geeks.link/JS. While technically it is there, I overlooked the fact that usually JavaScripts are stored in a folder called JS, so it did not actually work with my script redirecting service. So I do have a workaround. For now, it is there, but the long-term URL will indeed be a short link of geeks.link/JS games. That will be the actual long-term one.
It should be the real JSH. The real JSH.
Can we also do geeks.link/Tobor?
Well, sure, why not? Let's do them both.
It's been a while.
Let's do them both. Why not?
That's amazing.
I'm bringing it
my
back,
God.
JS. I'm bringing it back.
Like, you just blew my mind. I'm changing all my names to Tobor.
You forget I was a super fan before we podcasted together.
Tobor was the
Chris, you got anything you want to do?
I did want to say again, real quick, a big thank you to both Suncast and Andrew Zarian for having me on Tech News Weekly. It was a blast. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Mr. Pioneer of Stargates, do you have anything you would like to promote?
Well, just as a heads up, I know we talked about the Star Trek series coming up this upcoming weekend. You will be able to go out to the theater to see Star Trek Beyond. It is the 50th anniversary, and if you're a Star Trek fan, it's probably something that you're going to want to see, but we'll see on what the ratings are. I know that the summer movies, Ghostbusters and Independence Day Resurgence, haven't done extremely well, but, you know, The Secret Life of Pets is doing great, so you can go see that.
It's supposed to be a really good Star Trek movie, by the way. It's supposed to bring wow, I can't say that word in English, but it's supposed to pump life back into the series. They confirmed a fourth movie.
That's
They
awesome.
did, and I will say Ghostbusters was certified fresh last I checked on Rotten Tomatoes as well.
I can't believe
Has
that.
anybody
That
of
has
us
changed.
seen it?
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
No. I don't know that I'll see it in the theaters, but based off of the feedback that is there, I will absolutely see it when it hits home release. I'm very surprised, but pleasantly surprised to hear the great feedback that it is getting. So last thing that I want to go ahead and promote is that, yes, we are part of the GonnaGeek network, and there are a variety of amazing geeky podcasts on there, and we would like you to consider joining the GonnaGeek network. We're always looking for some new, fresh, high quality content, so please go to GonnaGeek.com/join. If you do have a podcast, go to GonnaGeek.com/join and read the criteria. There's a couple of things that we do request, and if you want to be part of the network, submit your podcast, we'll review it, and if you get the pass, we'll tell you all how to get set up. So there you go. That is going to take us to the end of episode 154 of the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. Too many numbers. I am Steven Jondrew. Gonna have a little fun with a certain bird later.
I'm gonna vomit later. Ugh.
And I'm Stargate's Pioneer, certified GonnaGeek Fresh.
Tobor!
First interspecies sex act in movie. Right here, Howard the Duck. Bye!
You're really selling me on it, dude.
It's a great movie. You've never seen that movie? You have to see that movie. It's amazing.
From everyone here at the GonnaGeek.com podcast, thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes. We encourage you to send your feedback by email to podcast@GonnaGeek.com. You can find all of our show history at GonnaGeek.com/official podcast. And while you're there, why not head over and check out all of the geeky podcasts on the GonnaGeek network? The music heard on this show is by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and we will see you again next week.